Hi, welcome to Learn Different. In this video, I'm going to react to the AQ50. The AQ50 is a screening tool by Simon Baron-Cohen. He's a clinical psychologist who invented a tool which can tell if you are have indications, strong indications of Asperger's or autism. It works for both males and females, and today I'm going to go through this. The importance of doing this tool is that the NHS uses this to just pass you on to further investigation. So this is just the entry level tool which helps classify you out from the general public as having strong indications. So this will be something that you would pass on to your GP once it's done. So the link to this test is below, and you can follow along with me. Basically, go down this. Don't obsess over these things, but fill them all out. So, am I a good diplomat? So, you could argue that diplomacy would, you're required to kind of learn and do some of these questions are odd, but just answer them anyway as best as you can. So this one, I think I'm a good diplomat because I'm not easily swayed by the crowd or populist opinions. However, if you do ask for that, that will be actually wrong. But just kind of go through this. Do you enjoy social situations? I do enjoy social situations, but some situations I don't enjoy. So kind of, I don't know, go to like the 80%. Is it a social situation? No, not. Is it your birthday or something like that? Or, are you getting a check? So go down all of these things. Agree, disagree. So I prefer to do things with others rather than my on own. So I disagree with that. I prefer to do things the same way over and over again. No, not really. I would like to do things the same way over and over again, but I don't. But yeah, I would prefer to do it. Yeah, it's quite correct. Yeah, I prefer. Not that I do things, I prefer. So please look at the language that they're using to try and understand yourself. Try to imagine something. It's very easy to create a picture in your mind. Now, when I was an architect, I could actually think in 3D, and it was very easy for me to create pictures in my mind. And I'm here that mostly people with Asperger's think in 3D. However, that's not you. Yeah, just answer the questions on this. Don't feel too bad about what it means or research too directly what this stuff means. Just answer these questions. They're a very good indicator, depending on how you answer them, not on the information behind them of what your indication. So let's go through it. I think we get so absorbed in one thing that I lose sight of other things. Yes, that's true. Often notice small sounds. Yes, I do. I can usually hear the toilet or dripping water. That's one of my triggers. I can hear dripping water. Uh, so, for example, if I'm in a two-story building and I'm upstairs, I can usually hear like the kitchen tap dripping. Or if I'm in a front room watching TV, I can hear the uh, the water system drip. And yeah, I usually notice car number plates and similar. Yes, but I still not to this day understand the number plate system. Like for example, when the year was, etc. But I do kind of notice patterns a lot. Other people frequently tell me that I've said impolite. Yeah, I think when I was a child, I said that that someone had AIDS. I didn't know what AIDS meant, but I knew that it was rude, and I said it anyway. I expected people to laugh, but they did not laugh. So um, when I am reading a story, I can even imagine what the characters look like. No, not unless I have maybe seen movies about it. And this is why sometimes I am, how do you say, upset by a recasting of a movie, because I think the characters are mainly those people. I'm fascinated by dates. No, I'm not fascinated by dates at all. Um, in a social group, I can easily keep track of several people's comments. No, I cannot. I usually, in a group, stick to one person, isolate them, and move them away from other people and chat to them, and then move on to another person. I find social situations easy. Yeah, if I use that technique above, but generally, yeah, I do. I do find them easy because I'm not swayed by a lot of things that are happening. I tend to notice details that others do not. Yes. If you are noticing details that other people are noticing, not noticing, you may get a diagnosis of, how do you say it now? You may go get a diagnosis of schizophrenia, because that is closely related to hearing voices or things like that. I remember when I had a caseworker, I told him about me constantly hearing the dripping of the toilet, and he came in and flushed my toilet and see if he could hear it as well, to check whether I had that or not. I thought it was pretty obvious what he was doing, um, and then I asked him, "Why are you checking? Can you hear it too?" But he was elderly and he found it difficult to hear, so um, yeah, he could still hear it. You could just about hear it. I would rather go to the library than a party. Um, I've also gone to clubs by myself to listen to drum and bass. Not for the crowd. I've gone for the music. So this is kind of, doesn't make any sense to me why you would see that there's a party of people or a library with people in it. Um, yeah. So yeah, I would rather go to a library though. I find making up stories easy. Yes, I can do that. Find myself drawn to strongly to people than to things. Not really. Certain people, yeah, my children, and my partner. I tend to have very strong interest when I get upset if I can't pursue. No, that's strange. But is an autistic trait. Having very strong interests. Uh, um, I enjoy social chit chat. No, I don't. I find it depressingly boring. When I talk, it isn't always easy for others to get a word. This is true. This is why things like when Asperger's people are looking for jobs, they look for jobs where they get to speak and no one else gets to talk. For example, lecturers. And again, you can link that with a very strong topic. So if you become a lecturer in law or something like that, that's a very good way of putting two things together that you might really enjoy. So if you like speaking and people don't get that, teachers, doorstop survey people, um, I don't know, salespeople reading from a script, anything that's scripted, someone who goes out and does engineering surveys, for example. You go in and you survey a washing machine. You kind of politely say yes or no, hi, and whatever, and you fill out a little clipboard, because someone's not really going to get a word in edgeways. It's not necessary. So try and look for jobs where you do not have to get a word. The other person doesn't have to get a word, like a politician, for example. Um, I am fascinated by numbers. No, I'm not. When I'm reading a story, I find it difficult to work out the characters' intentions. Yes, sometimes. I don't particularly enjoy reading fiction. Um, I don't partic- I disagree with that. I've got some fiction works, but I don't enjoy reading fiction because I'm dyslexic rather than any other sort of reason. I Perhaps it should be phrased, I prefer reading, a bit like the library question. I prefer reading manuals than fiction. That would probably be better because you're comparing two of those issues. I find it hard to make new friends. Yes, I do. Uh, I notice patterns in things all the time. Yes, I do. I would rather go to a theatre than a museum. I disagree with that. I love museums. I love the Science Museum. I love all the museums in London. Um, it does not upset me if my daily. Oh, I particularly like the John Soanes Museum, and I suggest that anyone goes to that. It does not upset me if my daily routine is disturbed. Hmm. It's hard to get me back on track. No, when I'm disturbed from my routine, and it can take several days to get back onto it. But a routine is better than aimlessly stabbing at stuff, um, blindlessly stabbing at stuff. See my previous video on how to stay focused on a goal, and that helps distractions. Frequently find that I do not know how to keep a conversation going. Correct. I find easy that also ties into kind of people not being able to get a word in edgeways as well. So yeah, I find it easy to read between the lines when somebody's talking to me. Um, Not really, but it's how would you know unless someone tells you? Some people do tell you if they're your friend. They say, you know, what, you're really not getting the point here. I'm just going to go away. But often people don't care, and I find there's a scale of emotional uh, quotient here, where and Asperger quotient, where you will get someone who thinks that they're hinting to you, and they're clearly not. Like they are also Asperger's, and they think you should clearly have understood what they said, and they have no idea. So sometimes you get some blue on blue crime, some Asperger on Asperger crime. I usually concentrate more on the whole picture rather than on the small details. Depends. But I do get fixated on on smaller details rather than kind of tie them in. And this is where using something like a mind map helps because it forces you to tie details together and look at the whole picture. So I think that's why mind maps work best. So, but usually I am focusing on small details and I have to come up with a theme, and that's very helpful. When I am writing, I'm just going to pop back here. Usually I'll put at the heading of anything that I'm doing, any research, I put the aim, and that helps me tie things together. I say, so I want to find out if I am autistic. And sometimes it helps to put because I have uh, issues with social communication. Okay, for those that are poking me, and this is me, I'm just going through the AQ50 to see if I'm autistic. So I am not very good at remembering phone numbers. Apparently, autistic people really can remember phone numbers. I can't anymore. Um, for example, in my job, I used to be able to remember, rightly or wrongly, people's credit card numbers. I used to be able to remember my credit card number, my debit card number, all of those details to do with that. However, remembering people's birthdays was not happening. So I'm not very good at remembering phone numbers. I keep them in my phone where they should be. I don't usually notice changes in a situation or purpose. Yeah, I do actually. Um, I will notice a lot of small details of changes in people, and sometimes because I'm a bit face blind, I will not notice who someone is because they've changed who they look like. So yeah, so yeah, not being face blind. Sometimes I focus on people's appearance. Sometimes I walk. I can remember, not remember. I can recognize someone from the way that they walk. which is odd. I know how to tell if someone is listening or getting is bored. No, I don't. Okay. I do find it easy to do more than one thing at once. Um, no one finds it easy to do more than one thing at once, and I don't. When I talk on the phone, I'm not sure when it's. Yeah, I do that all the time. Interrupt people when I'm talking, when they're talking, and also they tend to interrupt me because I don't know how to signal when I've stopped speaking or when I'm going to a new subject. So I think when I'm speaking to my ASD coach, I will try and focus on my speech therapy, how I'm going to speak and intone, etc. I do enjoy things. I do. I'm, I enjoy things doing. I enjoy doing things spontaneously. Not really. I am often the last to understand the point of the joke. Slightly agree. Yeah, I find it easy to work out someone is thinking or feeling just by looking at their face. And sometimes, if there's an interruption, I can quickly switch back to what I was doing. If it's a very interesting, if it's one of my interests, yes, I can switch back. If it's not one of my interests, I'm off on a rabbit hole of what that is. And I don't think that's talking about ADHD. This is talking about ASD and that this kind of inertia, this ASD inertia that you have. Um, like if you're doing something and you get stopped, it's very hard to roll again and do that. And it's also very hard to get started on something. But I think also that can be to do with emotional issues with uh, thinking or failure or something, doing something. I'm good at social chit chat. No, people often tell me that I am going on about the same thing. Yep. When I was young, I used to enjoy playing games and would pretend with other children. So I would play mass games, but the gentleman that I used to play with, or the child that I was when I was a child, we used to play. We used to capture bees in the flower heads in the garden, whilst everybody else was playing normal games. Hi, Adam, by the way. He ended up being a manager of a nuclear power plant. So you can gauge. He was white, by the way. I was black, and probably he was picked up as being Asperger's, and I wasn't. So I like to collect information about categories of things. Yes, I do. I've got a very big book collection on law. I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. I just like to collect those books. Um, I wish I could stop collecting. I find it difficult to imagine what it would be like to be someone else. Um, Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah. Um, I like to carefully plan any activities yes, I think I do. But often I don't know where to start planning activities. That's often the case. I've really tried my best to look at all the ways that you can plan something to get over that inertia of doing stuff. And I think I just need medication. If you're like me and you know GTD, you can reel off Tony Robbins. You can reel off all the things like Stephen Covey. Things. If you can reel off on the top of your head all of the practices of planning activities and getting things done, but still um, unable to do anything like that, but you could teach it, then there is something wrong with your brain chemistry, not the information in your head. Okay, so that's when you actually go and do a ADHD test. Okay, let's go back. I find it difficult to work out people's intentions. Yes, this is what being in social situations. This is helps you avoid situations. New situations makes you the same thing. So this is usually about the social situations, as I said earlier. It's these things: social interactions, verbal and non-verbal communication, repetitive and ritualistic behaviors. Okay, so it's giving me the American spelling, I think, for that. So let's go back and finish this. We've almost finished, and we're going to press send. I'm not very good at remembering people's dates of birth. No, I'm not. I find it very easy to play games. And if you don't remember someone's date of birth, please, for the love of God, write it down, put it in a calendar, one of these digital calendars. If you're on Apple, if you put the date of birth in someone's card, it will actually give you a notification when their birth is. And all you have to do is I don't know, do what I do. Buy packs of cards in bundles because you know that you will not be going out to buy a card. Pre load that and send these cards to people, or you can go on those sendacard.com whatever and send these cards and try to maintain these connections with people. I find it very easy to play games with children that involve pretending. Yes, I do. Okay, so do not worry about it being uh, strong or not. That is not how this is scored. Let's score my answers. Oh, enjoy. Yeah, this is line skipping. That's my dyslexia or ADHD. I enjoy meeting new people. Depends. If they're going to give me a check or they're going to take money away from me. But generally, no, I don't enjoy that. Let's score my. Ooh, wow. What am I over? I'm 3 over. Once you have your score of 33 or above, you need to book a specific appointment with your GP to discuss these results. If he's happy that this this is significant and he wants to book you for a test, please ask him how long it will take for you to receive a full diagnosis. If he says that this is going to take years or that time is going to be too long for you, ask to be referred and ask what the options are for right to choose. If he doesn't know, you should really get your own referral, fill out this letter, and also fill out another AQ and send it to your GP. What they should do next then is to actually fill out those details, send your information over to one of the practitioners that you have chosen outside the NHS. The NHS will pay and you will receive your assessment. Thank you. Thanks for watching Learn Different. If you have any questions or any comments, please leave them below. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.